Welcome to Music Matters Podcast with Darrell Craig Harris, talking about all things music with celebrities, artists, music business insiders, and more. Shyra Sanchez, how are you today?
I am doing great. How are you?
I'm very good. So where are you based these days?
I'm based in Los Angeles, California, sunny LA where the weather is good. It's been up and down, but it's a great place.
Yeah, and you got the beach, so that's a positive.
You can go from the beach into snow in like 3 hours. So it's
Exactly.
wonderful.
Yeah, exactly. I love that. I'm a California boy myself. So you're a very interesting background. You're a singer, dancer, producer, fitness entrepreneur, motivational speaker. You've had several songs that have made it on the charts. Your previous single, Operator, was #4 on the UK Big Official Top 40 charts and Billboard Music. It made it, I think, #31. Dance With Me is your latest single, and you also have a music video out for that. And I love your music. It's very uplifting, EDM, pop, dance, and the videos are great as well. Tell me about your start into music and your latest singles.
Oh, listen, when I started to music, I've always loved music. My mom's been a big inspiration to me. So she played all like the greatest from Earth, Wind and Fire, Shaka Khan, Santana, so getting kind of like all of those music influences. I did start out in a heavy metal band.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
I know, I was like, wow. But it was from Northern California because I wanted to learn how to write all types of music. From there, I ventured to Los Angeles and I was able to meet John Singleton, rest in peace, the movie director Boys in the Hood, Higher Learning. He discovered me and he came to me, said, I want your song in one of my, movies. And I'm like, okay, great. Next thing
Wow.
you know, he's like, okay, who's your attorney? Let's make this happen. Then from there, I actually had a song called DJ Love Song. It was in the movie Abduction. Then from there, we were talking. He's like, "Hey, we should like maybe do some dance remixes." So from there, that song went to number 28 on Dance Billboard. So then from there, and just keeping on with the journey, and doing Operator, and the amazing Operator is actually on another movie soundtrack. Joe Carnahan, he did Smoking Aces, The Gray, R.I.P. The latest
Right.
from Ben Affleck and Matt Damon. And yeah, he just called me up and said, "Hey, remember that song that you wrote called Operator?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "I want that one like on the soundtrack." So Not Without Hope, you can stream in as well. So that Operators like started, and then from there, I work with Travis Payne, Michael
Mhm.
Jackson, Janet Jackson. We collaborated on the music video, had some great ideas, and that happened. And now I'm with Dance With Me. So
Yeah, it's been like and actually it's been a bit of a whirlwind, and I love the videos. Tell me about making the videos, especially the Operator video. I thought was super fun. Tell me about making those because that's quite a endeavor.
yeah, it is. And of course, working with Travis Payne, I mean, he did the Michael Jackson Scream, for him and Janet.
Right.
So just the visuals and what the song is talking about it being an operator, you can take control of life in your situations. So I wanted to
Mm.
kind of like morph into like all these characters, and that was the cool thing. So him, myself, and my mom, we all work with, I would say, the direction as far as costuming and, you know, getting the dancers and the choreography, and it was just something I just think new and fun. But again,
Mm.
Travis is a perfectionist, so you can just imagine. So not only
Working with Michael was for sure.
so not only did he, okay, let's say the idea of the video, he's like, no, I'm going to edit this video as well.
Mm.
So kind of like his expertise is just amazing. So it was great working with him.
I mean, to make it happen, especially at the level that you're at, it really takes a village. As you mentioned, your mom, I'm sure and you have managers and publicists that we know, and it's something that really, again, like it just takes a lot of time to put all that together. Who are some of your earliest musical influences? Who were you listening to as a young singer?
Oh my gosh, from I would say Tina Turner, of course, for my mom, but Janet Jackson and Mariah Carey and Whitney
Mm.
Houston, like some of the Michael Jackson, of course, and Prince, and just a lot of like, great, great people. So
Right, yeah, and obviously influential for a lot of folks. And you mentioned so tell me about the heavy metal band experience. I want to hear that story.
So I was in a band called Circle of Fifths. Like I said, we were out in Northern California.
Mhm.
And, I want to say, tired of working with producers who were just kind of like, okay, you have to do this in one thing. And I said, you know what? I'm going to branch out. So I went to my local music store. Shout out to Skip's Music in Sacramento. I put up a little flyer, looking for a bass player, this, and that. So I got with a group of guys and we just started writing music. There was like four like-minded people that just wanted to create music. And I
Right.
just thought it was just so great, and being Northern California and having like Papa Roach from here, Simon Says,
Yeah, a lot of good bands actually.
Tones, Cake, all those people, and they kind of like all like embraced us. And of course, you know how the band gets. You're like, okay, great, the band is great, but we want you. So,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
kind of like, dissolved a little bit, but I'm still, good friends with everyone. And, hopefully in the future you might hear something rock from me. So
yeah, you know what? It's good to try different things and kind of, and it takes, when you're a young artist, it takes a little while to kind of find your footing. When you were kind of coming up and exploring music, did you feel like it took a little while for you to find your sound, or did you feel like you were already kind of pretty much formed when you came out and started singing?
I would say it did take me a while, but I call like, my music mesh music because it's just like
Mm,
music, metal, evolutionary rock, soul, and hip hop, putting all
right.
that together. And I'm so glad I'm an independent artist. And when you are, you get to have the liberty of like testing new things because of course, if you're with a record company, like, oh no, we're gonna shelf you. That didn't sell.
Or they want you to be in a very narrow space, right?
Yes, and from how I look, they're like, "Oh, you don't look like this, you don't look like that. You should be doing more R&B music or whatever." And I'm like, "No, I want to do dance, pop and rock and just
Mhm.
have, all of that still have the influence, but still have the dance influence at the same time."
Yeah, and you have, I mean, I always say it's using all your attributes, both hands, both legs. And if you can do it, why not try it, right?
Yeah.
Talk about songwriting. Is it like a loner thing for you, or is it working with other people? How do you approach it?
I do loner, but I also have a team of people that we work with. I've been working with them for about 10 years, which is really good. So
It's awesome.
over the time, okay, we've got like 500 songs. What do we need to do with these? Let's do a sync deal or something. So usually it comes up, I might have a melody and I'll go over and sing it or go to the piano or guitar. I do
Mhm.
not play, but I can listen to something by ear and play it.
Right.
So, or they'll come up and give me something, maybe it's a beat or a melody. I'm like, no, we need to change this. And it's so cool because we all have these musical backgrounds, from jazz to pop to classical, country, so we've all written everything. And so when it comes together, man, it's beautiful. And I'm excited because I'm going to be releasing my first EP in
Hmm.
October and it's great. So
Yeah, it seems these days that most artists, especially if on streaming platforms, are releasing singles first and then they release
yes.
an EP, which is kind of what you've been doing. And I think that's a really great strategy, kind of building an audience, and that's super awesome. Tell me about writing for film, because that's obviously a different thing. Have you really specifically written for film, or have your songs been chosen for film? How has that worked for you?
It's like, well, those two situations, I mean, John just heard it and he was like, oh my God, this song would be perfect in this section,
Mm,
And then same
right.
with Carnahan, there's a workout scene, like I said, and Not Without Hope, and operators in there because it's about a group of guys that are strong and fit and taking control. And he's like, this would be perfect.
Mhm.
So that's how those songs came about, which is really nice because when the directors call you, they're like,
Yeah,
we want your song instead of, the supervisor and going through this.
it makes it a lot easier process.
Like, I'm a
Exactly.
director. This song is going to go in here, no questions asked. So
Yeah.
it's really a blessing, to have that opportunity. But I do look forward to writing, songs specifically for movies or for TV shows. So I'm just waiting for that.
Yeah, and getting that kind of track record right out of the gate is super important because and in Hollywood, that's what they want to see, what your credits are.
DJ Love Song was in another movie called Skin Trade from Dolph Lundgren.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah, so it's kind of like, the song was living on and on. And it's like, okay, great. So that was a good thing too. So actually I've done three movie soundtracks. So
Awesome. So have you been working with one main producer?
I work with a couple. So, but
Okay.
this is for the new stuff, it's just myself and BB Stone. So yeah,
Okay.
we write
Awesome.
a lot of stuff. So yeah, it's like, and he's worked with Janet and oh my gosh, just the greats that you can think of, Jimmy Jam, Terry Lewis. I
Right.
mean, that's all I have to say because once you say that, you're like, okay, I'm done.
We all know who they are. And do you find like working with producers, especially, it's finding that comfort zone. It's a bit like a marriage in a way.
Yeah.
Talk about that and how you approach that when you first start working with a new person and getting to know them and in that process.
Working with a new person, I really haven't. But when I do, it's like you said, it's having that synergy.
Mm,
That's the one thing. Like I said, his name is Ben BB Stone. We can walk into a room and feel the vibe and be like, okay, this is where we're going. All right,
right.
get on the mic. Have I'm gonna have the melody go like this. And he was like, ooh, I'm feeling this. Let's change that. And it's sometimes like when you work with new producers, they have egos. So
That's been noted.
yeah, so I'm like, check that out the door because we don't even
Right.
have egos, and it's about what type of music that we want to put out into the world. What's our message? We're going to be singing this, 1,000 times, 100,000 times. And I believe in positivity, like you said, feel good music. When you hear my music, it feels good, it's empowering. And I think that's what we focus on as well. What's
Mm,
going to get that person, if they hear that song, to motivate them, to make them feel good, that they're out of depression, that makes them want to get up and dance. And I think that's very important. And a lot of, I'm not saying new producers are not thinking about that, but it's just kind of like, okay, this is the hit, this is the beat, this is what we want. And I'm like,
right.
that's not me. So
Yeah, you want to be aligned on the same with the same kind of goal for sure. Talk about the remix is also an important part of your singles. It's really fun to hear how people interpret songs and how they do that. So talk a little bit about that.
yes, well, you being in Las Vegas,
Yeah.
Lee Dagger, which is Bimbo Jones, he is out of
Hmm.
there. Great, great, great. I've worked with him numerous times. And, he gives it that UK feel,
Right,
and
right.
it's, I want it to sound like this. And I'm like, oh, okay. He's like, no, it's like, it's got to be happy, mate. Have them keep dancing, all these. So it was really encouraging. Then working with Dave Ade, great producer, Grammy producer, and he knows how to bring, that club sound as well.
Right.
People say, why do you do so many remixes? And I'm like, you just don't know what the public wants, and I like to
Yep.
make everyone happy. Of course, so DJ Senna G, she did an Afrobeats mix.
Hmm.
So everything is, for every genre, whether it's London, whether it's UK, whether it's club, or it's tea dance.
Ibiza, yeah, yeah, yeah. That's an interesting world. Ralphie Rosario is a friend of mine who's a big, 80s remixer guy. And I never realized how deep that got. Like, because we did a song, he did like five different remixes, but they're all very different. And I was like pretty fascinated by that. Tell me about your Star Academy, because that's also another part of what you do to help give back and help kids get involved in music and performing.
Yes, so STARS Academy means strategic training and academics resulting in success. So that's what it takes to be a star. There's no magic fairy dust.
Exactly. Yeah.
Got to work at it. You've got to believe in it. You have to have a strong support group. And I feel that's what kids don't have nowadays. They're running to the computer or getting validation, from Instagram. And,
Right.
I want to teach kids you have it within you. We got to focus and structure it, but not even if it's music or dancing. It
Mm,
could be anything, in their life. And so I give, empowerment classes. I teach, singing, dancing, acting, modeling, whatever the kids, want to do. And it's cool because with the program, they're able to try everything
right.
because, writing music, because they don't really know, what their strength is until they try it. And then, of course, their parents, a couple of years later, they're like, oh my gosh, you really touched my child. You made him better in public speaking and confidence, connecting with friends. And it's just a feel good thing. And that's one of my passions.
Yeah, and it's important for kids, especially young kids, to have positive mentors. Do you find that that's an important part of what you're doing with that as well?
Yes, and that's why I try to put out empowering music,
Mm.
so kids will, know that. And not saying, my other music isn't, but it's just if you're speaking something every day, you want it to touch in here.
Yeah, and you want to be honest and truthful, and they can feel the vibe in that. It's interesting, and I love your music. It's definitely feel good music. It makes you want to dance, which is obviously the goal.
All right, come dance with me.
Yeah, well, I don't know if I'm the best dancer, but I'm enthusiastic, I would say. Tell me about live shows. Do you have any live shows coming up?
Yes, I do. I am going to be performing in Atlantic City, August at the DJX event. It's when all DJs come together in Atlantic City at the Hard Rock, and it's just an amazing event. After that, I have the Malibu Mixer, which is going to be on August 29th. And that's going to be fun in Malibu. So, all my California people, if you live in Los Angeles, come out and see me in Malibu. And then Fashion Week New York. I have that coming up.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, I'm a photographer too.
Thanks to Kelly and Adrian for that.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, Fashion Week, and that's a great place to be seen and to network and meet folks, and that's definitely an awesome thing. If you could give some advice to young artists, people that would want to be doing what you're doing, and I know you've learned some important points along the way for
I would say the advice to young artists is to not give up. Don't take no
sure.
for an answer, but you got to have thick skin and always believe in your vision. Yes, you can listen to, criticism or outside, influence that might say something, but if you get that gut feeling and it keeps coming back to you to do that type of music or, to stick to your sound, you need to do that. And I think that's what I've done over the years. And it's been a lot, and plus the fans, so it's encouraging me.
And yeah, never giving up is counts for a lot, right?
I'm telling
That's
you,
super.
I say overnight success is 15 to 20 years.
Exactly. Yeah. It never happens quite that
Yeah.
way, right? How can people find you online and if they want to check out your music and also upcoming shows?
You can go to Shyra.music. That is my website. Instagram is Shyra Sanchez, and Shyra Music on, let's see, TikTok. So I just started that, and it's been a whirlwind. I usually go live every day. It's good to connect with the fans.
Well, you have a great personality too, and obviously you're a beautiful lady, so that's a win-win-win. But I appreciate your time, and I know you've got a lot going on. I'm excited to see what you do moving forward. I encourage everybody to please check out your music, and also especially on your YouTube. The videos are really fun.
Thank you. Yes, check them out. And I've got some new stuff coming out, and I can't wait to share with everyone.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Shyra. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Bye.
Thanks for joining us, and please consider subscribing to our podcast and follow us on our social media pages for guest announcements.